Good morning, Josh with Content Marketing Media. So today I'm going to talk about just taking another step when it comes to copy and just creating very unique, hyper-specific copy. We've gone through a lot of evolutions of this. So we've used GPT 3.5, GPT-4, 4 Turbo. Last week we ran our campaigns using Cohere as our model. We even did some experiments with Cohere Command R Plus, which is their newest model. And to be fair, we're always looking at cost, right? Because we're doing things at scale. And so this week we decided let's look at Haiku and Opus from Claude. And both were pretty phenomenal. So I'm going to kind of walk through that. I like to always use ourself as an example so I can evaluate the copy. So we'll start off with just us, and we'll kind of scroll over. And our normal workflow is we pull our leads in, and then we normalize. We do some clay enrichments that are free. We like the LinkedIn Enrich company just because it gives us a little bit more distinct information that's not on the website about the company. And then from there, as you can pull in any columns you want from you know the LinkedIn enrichment, but we like to use this one, and there's certain we like the website, industry description, and this is kind of the description, so when we pull in. So if you've seen some of our previous videos, we're using Cohere for research, and we have a prompt here. So Cohere, at least today within Clay, you cannot. It's not a direct enrichment. You have to call it via API. But here we have a prompt, and this prompt, adjusts according to the website. And so in this case, it's our website, and it's a pretty detailed prompt just to give us 4 to 5 paragraphs of information. And then some nice things too is with this workflow, you could experiment with Command R Plus if you wanted to see just kind of the difference in the output. I think when we ran this one, and we're pulling it up now, but we did use Command R Plus, right? So it'll just give you an idea of we're using the best large language model from a research leakage, hallucination perspective on the market to gather our research. You don't have to use these models, right? You could use GPT. In our previous videos, we've shown multiple ways, but the goal is to get very specific research on the business. And you can see from a cost perspective, we like to, make sure we know what the costs are. This is running us somewhere on average, looks like one cent per lead with Command R Plus, which is definitely more expensive than Command R. But that's just giving our research. And if you dive into the depths of our research, it just gives us a lot of great information. And I like to use our company as an example because this is a very detailed case study that's levels deep on our website. So that's how good this model is. So from there, we're going to take this, and we've removed some of the previous steps because we're all about efficiency and reducing costs, but also just getting the best copy possible. And so I want to show you what our offer is. And if we kind of go through, you can just see we're prompting it with the services that we offer, right? And that is really the goal. When I build these workflows and my team builds these workflows and we share them, we want you to be able to come in and put your offer in, right? So this is our offer this week. And then we combine our input. So what we're putting into Claude, let me show you here, is, this is our prompt, right? And the important thing to know here is we're injecting the company name, the Cohere output, which you saw here previously, a description. So this is where we're combining LinkedIn and we're combining our output. So you need a pretty big context window to be able to do this. And that's why Claude, Opus, and Haiku were great for that, because you're injecting all of this information and all of the LinkedIn description. And then this is our prompting. Again, we're very intentional about how we create our copy. So we've got the first sentence structured one way. The second sentence, we introduce that offer that is dynamic. Of course, you could change to your offer. And then our third sentence is really tying what we're proposing in the email back to the offer, right? So that's been consistently our philosophy. Obviously, we could do 1 or 2 sentences. We could do shorter paragraphs, longer paragraphs, but we've kind of honed in on this prompt because it works, and now we've just been trying it with different models. And so I want to show you the responses we're getting, right? So first of all, we have out here for cost. So now that Claude is built into Clay, you have some options, right? So you can run, if I go into Claude here, you can run Claude using Clay's key, right? So the important thing to note here is if you are going to use Claude Opus, which is definitely their best model and most expensive model, it's going to cost you 2 Clay credits. So it says that right here, 1 Clay credit plus an additional one. Now, I would tell you from a cost perspective, I have found, and I don't know that I've ever said this before, but it's more effective if you're going to use Claude Opus to use Clay credits. And so I've done the calculations. It's about 10 cents. Claude Opus is probably the most expensive model I've ever seen, but it's really, really good, right? And so everything is a give and take. So I decided I was going to use Clay credits to run this at 2 credits each because I did the numbers and it came out ahead. And that's why it's important to evaluate these things, especially if you're going to do them at scale. But you can use your own API key. So where I would use my own API key is if I was going to use Haiku, right? And so let me show you both, just to kind of give you an example. I'll use my API key so that you can see. And then this prompt, I'm just injecting that email input that I showed you earlier. So let's run it live and let's just see what happens here. So this first one here is with Opus. So we're going to run it with Haiku and just see what kind of output we get here. And looks like it's completed. Yeah, let me double check that because it didn't feel right. Yeah, Haiku, my own key. Okay, good. So we'll run a few here. And, like you'd expect, we're having technical errors while we're live. So I'm going to do a quick refresh and see if we can fix this. We'll scroll over here. And there you go. So look, yeah, let's see. Let's just rerun it here. Yeah, now they're queuing. So sometimes, like with anything else, you just need to refresh. So let's see if we get some cost here. And we'll double check, just to make sure what model we're using here. But if we go to column, yeah, Haiku. And then it looks like maybe have some of those columns hidden. So let's scroll down and unhide them here. Yeah, they're probably here. And so as you can see, like I like to, just keep columns, move myself out of the way here, keep columns hidden sometimes just to get a better feel for, what's going on. And let's see there. Let's see if we can get the total cost there. So scroll over to the right. Yeah. So we have a good, kind of good breakdown here of the cost, which is good because we're looking at like 4 cents, give or take. I think that's pretty much the number. And then, as I mentioned in the examples, like I like to use, because I'm going to use Opus this time, I like to use Clay credits, right? Because I've done the math and it comes out ahead. So let me save this and then I'll run it. But I want to show you the difference in the output, right? So we'll just use my company. Pretty good output, right? The one thing I didn't like about this, I think it follows the format good. I did not like this right here, right? The bullet pointing. So again, Haiku is pretty cheap compared to Opus. And so let's rerun it and let's just double check before I finish that we've got Opus, and then let's rerun it with Opus and just see the difference here. So it should take just a few seconds. I mean, I did like 5,000 of these last night, so not too concerned at the timeliness of it. And so I'll give it a second and we'll take a look at the copy, right? So, you can obviously take a look at this, but I can tell you it's spot on. It does exactly what I want it to do. This is the best copy I've ever seen created by an LLM, and it identifies exactly what we do. It introduces the offer like it's supposed to, and then it wraps it up, right? And this is humanistic sounding. It doesn't sound like AI. And I just kind of want to wrap up this video to say, does it work? Well, we did 5,293 leads last night. We're already getting booked calls, and we've even gotten a few calls already for this morning that are booked, 2 or 3 meetings today. So it definitely does work, and let us know if you have any questions.